When we make decisions, trying to make them from a place that makes sense, I want to point out that that area, that angle perspective, is more objective than we would like it to be, I think. Our brains are great for a lot of things, but we can't discount how we feel about the decisions that we make. Many decisions that we make in our lives don't make sense because they're not a great use of our resources, whether that's our time, our money, our energy. For example, my husband and I always picking each other up from the airport. We could easily take the train. It takes more time, more gas, more money, all the things to make that extra effort, and it's still worth it for us. Now, this also happened to me on my last journey, 288 days that I took, where I left for almost 10 months and intentionally chose not to take a sweatshirt. Okay, this sounds silly, but here's what happened, is that I thought in my mind the sweatshirt takes up way more space, just like a physical book would. And so I didn't take these two items. And they were two things that ended up really enhancing my experience, because eventually I did go out and buy a sweatshirt, and I went to used bookstores and bought paperback books, because these are things that matter in my life. And so even though the decision didn't make a lot of sense because they took up more space, right? The value that each of these things brought was greater than the cost, whether that was space or money or time. And using this filter in life, I think, is a really powerful way to make better decisions and to live with less regret. And to me, regret it's just the heaviest price we'll ever pay in life. And whether it's not packing the right thing because you want to be a light packer, but then you miss out on having options when you go on your vacation, or it's something as serious as, deciding if you go on a trip to spend time with family or friends. Sometimes these things just don't make sense to our brains, but they make sense to our hearts. So I want to remind you to use the sweatshirt test in your life, to remember that it's not just what your brain is going to think about in the moment, like as you're packing your bags or deciding whether to buy that plane ticket, or going to pick someone up from the airport. It's really remembering that what's going to last in your life is how you feel about that decision. Do you feel like it aligned with your values? Do you feel like it brought you joy? And to remember that those absolutely get to count towards even making sense, even to the logic, because what good is a decision to us if we don't feel good afterwards?